Hi everyone and welcome really everyone. It's a lot of people we have here today. I'm really glad to see that you already left some comments on the chat, and I can see there are people from all over. I saw a lot of people from Portugal. I'm talking from Portugal too, from Lisbon, but we are all three in different places. Both Danny and David, they will tell you a little bit where they're from and what they're doing. I'm glad to see that you're from. I see here Poland, I think, Spain. Keep telling us where you're seeing us from. I'd love to know which different countries you're seeing us from. And welcome to the Cybersecurity of Ironhack. We will explain a little bit today what Ironhack is about. If it's the first time that you're here, know that we are a global tech school, but in any case, we will tell you a little bit about this. This is the first day of a week dedicated to cybersecurity. So apart from this introductory event, we will have other events in this week, practical, not practical, and all of them with the ultimate goal to introduce you in the cybersecurity world. And we will share with you the schedule for you to know which kind of event we will have this week. Today, it's more of an introductory event. So if you're completely new to Cybersecurity Week today, you will see what you can learn. We will have David explaining what it's like to work in the field. So you can ask all your questions about entering this cybersecurity world, what you can learn, how is the daily life of someone working in cybersecurity. So all of these introductory questions you can ask. And on the following days, we will actually introduce you in more practical stuff, and you can start digging a little bit more. Okay, so just before I start the presentation, glad to see everyone, Spain, a lot of people from Portugal. That's amazing. France. Hi, everyone. Before we start with the presentation, just a few rules from Crowdcast, just so you know. So I can see here, they discover the chat. That's great. You can leave here your feedbacks. You can say hi, where you're from. Hi, Oliver from London. And this is where you will interact with us, but also in the Ask a Question section, which you can see below the videos. In here, you can make a few questions for us, and after a small presentation that we will do, we will leave a lot of space for you to ask questions, and in the end, we will open a Q&A. So please leave your questions in the Ask a Question section, because that's where we will be seeing them, and they don't get lost. Otherwise, in the chat, they will, because there will be old comments, and in the Ask a Question section, you can upvote the questions you want to see answered. Other than that, this webinar is recorded. So for those of you asking, you can review this webinar later. You can even send this webinar to anyone who wasn't able to attend now. They just need to register again. And for the rest of the webinars that we will have this week, please go through the green button that you can see here below the videos. It says more about Cybersecurity Week, and you will go to the landing page of the event. You can sign up for all events there, and you can see what this week is about, and you can sign in to receive all the news from this week, and we will have a lot of surprises for you in the end of the week. So please make sure to be on the loop for that. So if you can hear me well, which I believe you can, because you've been saying hi from Netherlands, Korea, Portugal, Brazil. Well, hi, Kim. I will start with the presentation, and I will just give you a little bit of overview. All right. And after that, I will give the word to Danny, and I will give the word to David, and they will go on with this. All right. I believe everyone can see my screen. So as I was saying, the cybersecurity will be the whole week, and we will have a set of events. Today, we start with the cybersecurity basics, what it is, what you can learn, with a testimonial from someone working on the field. But tomorrow, we will start digging with them in a more practical stuff. So risk management and strategy in cybersecurity, actually with David again. He can tell you a little bit more about it. Become the hacker of the future. That will be with Enrique from HackRocks, and defending networks like a Spartan with Carlos. You can see all of these events in the landing page, which is in the green button, and you can see a little bit of the description and see if that's something that you'll be willing to learn. All of them, no need for background. If you've never heard about cybersecurity in a more practical way, at least, no worries, because this is beginner friendly, all of them. So some quick intros. I'm Raquel, as I said. I'm growth manager at Ironhack, but today we also have Danny. He's the admissions expert that we have today. He will tell you a little bit about the course and some professional exits, and then David, he will tell a bit more about his own experience working as a cybersecurity expert. But for now, for those of you who are new to Ironhack and who've never heard about us, I think it's cool to make a small introduction. So we are a global tech school. We educate on the digital skills needed in the tech sector, which we keep updating as the demand demands, so to speak. And we do that through boot camps, which are intensive and short education type of courses. From 2 months to several months if it's part-time, and we are very outcomes focused. This means that our ultimate goal is to help you find a job that you love, to boost your current career if you want to upskill, or to even build your own products if you want to start your own startup. What do we do exactly? This means that we have intensive courses in web development, UX/UI design, data analytics, and of course, cybersecurity. We are really helping to shape the next generation of digital creators, because we are, through our courses, preparing you to actually enter the job market more easily, instead of going through a college degree of many years and not getting into practice. We do that worldwide. Right now I'm talking from Lisbon, in which we have a campus, but we have 9 campuses around the world, plus remote. We right now have a community of more than 7,000 alumni, and a more than 85% placement rate in the first 6 months of people who are looking to find a job after the bootcamp. And other than that, a professional network to help you enter the job market and the tech world within any bootcamp that you choose. Well, this is a little bit about us, but I'm going to pass the word now to Danny, and he will explain you a little bit cybersecurity and what you can learn.
Yes, Raquel, thank you very much always for your very good emceeing. So I'm going to try to be as short as possible, so we can actually enjoy David, who is the start of the evening, and who is going to give you the right information that you need to understand what this is about. I'll just give you a short overview of what we do and how we do it. So why should you choose a cybersecurity bootcamp? And this is something that David most likely can also reinforce. We have a very different approach in terms of how you learn what you're going to do to be adapted to a new profession. And this field specifically has been growing very rapidly in the past few years. And David has 20 years of experience in the field. I've seen it for the last 2 years. The growth has been exponential. And this means that traditional education is not able to actually keep the pace to fulfill the needs of the market for professionals in this area. And that's the reason we decided to go with a cybersecurity bootcamp as an offer to you guys, as we've done it with, as Raquel mentioned, UX, UI, data analytics, and web development. So this is a very good way, regardless of what you were doing before, to get into a very interesting, long-lasting, sustainable, and obviously well-paying career in the future. Actually, I say the future, but you can start actually right away after finishing the course. Yeah. Next one. So what is it about? So our course is very interesting. It's actually one of the most complete in the market in terms of what you're going to get in terms of learning from the very beginning, very fundamental skills with an introduction to your first level between weeks 1 and 3, where you get to learn about operating systems, network administration. Then on the second module, weeks 4 to 9, you get your introduction, obviously, to your second module, and then you get into network security, malware analysis. You start fumbling around with forensics, ethical hacking, and incident response. And then you finish your course in the last 3 weeks with retaking forensics in a more advanced level, and then risk management and threat intelligence. So as you can see, you get the perspective on how things work from the very fundamentals, on how even the networks and the systems are going to be presented to you so you can understand them properly. And then you move forward very rapidly, I have to say, but very complete towards acquiring that skill level that you need to be successful in a new career like this one. So the course structure, we offer it in 12 weeks in full-time or 24 in part-time. It is a self-guided course, so this is very important to understand. Self-guided in a class setup where you actually have access to an amazing learning platform that we have for you guys, where you get the materials, where you go through the educational materials that you need to complete to actually be able to practice your skills, and then you obviously practice these skills all in a class setup. You have no instructors, so you have facilitators who support you to throughout the bootcamp to actually debug and be able to function properly in during the course and achieve your goals. It is self-guided but not self-paced, divided in 9 different courses, as I was mentioning, on operating systems, network administration, security, malware forensics, ethical hacking, risk management, and threat intelligence. This was a huge, a huge memory exercise for me. And then this project, this bootcamp, for example, is very different for our project-based courses, where you have to complete certain projects to create a portfolio to show to companies to then be hired. This requires being a self-guided course. It requires quizzes, exams, labs, and real-world scenarios where you will be running virtual machines and work on safe, real-life sort of created environments, so you can actually be able to put your skills to use. The facilitator, which I think is a very important thing to mention. So you don't have a teacher, as I was saying. The course is self-guided but not self-paced, and they will support you leading morning and evening sessions. They will assist you during your labs, and if you have any questions regarding the contents that you're seeing on your day-to-day, they support you also with reviewing those labs and the quizzes and everything that you've been doing through the course. And then naturally, if you have any sort of technical issues, they will be there to support you. I'm going to attack very quickly one of the questions that just popped up in my eyes. So why no instructors? This course has been structured and designed in a way where you can actually gather that theoretical knowledge yourself, but then even though there's no instructors, as you even put it in quotations, you have people to support you and to guide you through then the practice and the put to practice of these skills. Why? Because it is way more efficient for you to move forward in the materials and move forward in the knowledge and educational experience, and without any sort of intrusion from someone else, but people then supporting you. Yeah. Perfect. Careers in cybersecurity. David is going to be also able to probably give you a little bit more information on this area. But the openings that we've been seeing in the market for students that come out of our courses are usually cyber forensics analysts, network ops, or system administration specialists, cyber analysts, incident responders, and infrastructure support. All in junior positions. Okay. So very quickly through the admissions process, so you don't get bored, and David takes over very quickly. It is a very easy admissions process. Nonetheless, it requires you to obviously be engaged and be committed to show us that you are actually the sort of students that will fit with this sort of experience. So the application goes through the website, then one of our admissions managers will reach out to you and will organize a personal interview, or you can actually organize a personal interview on your end if there are no questions open at the moment of the application. After everything has been properly completed in terms of information during the personal interview, you would then be moved to a technical assessment if everything goes successfully. technical assessment, logical thinking oriented, and critical thinking oriented with a cybersecurity mindset, or oriented to a cybersecurity mindset. And once you have done the technical assessment or the online test, we will then be able to give you your acceptance, or recommend you to do something else, or join a different course if the process is not 100% successful for you, or if we see it on our side. And then you get your acceptance, your student agreement, and everything to pretty much change your life and jump into a new career. Pre-work is not optional. So once you have decided to join the course, as we have people from any possible background that you can imagine, I've seen people coming from the sales industry, people coming directly out of their master's degree, people coming from, we have a TV producer that did the course, we have a security officer that has done the course. So as we have a very diverse group in terms of backgrounds, we have a pre-work to level the class and have them all prepared in the same level, so they can start pretty much at the same speed. It is mandatory. It's going to require you at least 20 hours of work that you do online on your own, and this is self-guided and self-paced in this case. And it supports you, giving you that foundation that you need to properly move during your class. You would get access to the pre-work once you have been accepted and you have decided to join our course as a student. When and how. So we have full-time and part-time courses. Full-time courses go for 12 weeks, part-time for 24 weeks. This is in full-time also a full-time occupation, where you go from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. every single day to your learning environment. And then in part-time, you have classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then Saturdays during the whole day. The course, as said, is self-guided in a class setup. It is not classes as you would have in a traditional bootcamp, as weird as it sounds. And as said, it is not mixed between lessons and practice. You would have to learn the materials yourself, and then obviously practice them in case you have any questions, you need any support. You have your classmates, you have a whole structure of support prepared to guide you through the path to those solutions. And then naturally, you have your facilitators to support you. This is Nuno. This is not advertising for the course, but obviously we are committed to show you how things work. For this, as I was saying, I will be finishing quite quick, so David can take over. We have financing options for you depending on the country that you are based. There are different ways to get through the course without having to pay everything up front. Perfect. Career services. So in case you are interested in joining this course with the purpose of finalizing that learning process and getting into a new career in tech, you're going to get support from day one with an outcomes manager that is going to help you with your CV, with your LinkedIn, with all the information that you need to get presented to companies. And then naturally, you will get a job feed, you'll get support on a job search, and you'll get naturally on a whole process, not only to guide you through the educational experience, but also very important on how to face the job market that is also new to you, and that will allow you to make that career change in a safe environment and in a way that is actually positive for you guys to then develop yourselves. It happens in 3 different phases. You start with the pre-work, where you give us information about yourself, and we give you the information on how to tackle the market. Then you get your digital foundations, you get your skills, and we also support you on getting into workshops, getting into information that will help you network better. And then naturally, after the course has ended, you will be then able to continue with your job hunt and get that position that you're looking for and that change that you're looking for your life. I think that's pretty much it on my side. I hope it wasn't that long and that that
I see.
complete
I see that a lot of people are asking questions. So that's great, guys, that you leave here on the comments, and we will answer as soon as possible. But as I told you before, please leave them on the ask a question section, because, as I said in the beginning, for those of you who arrived a little bit later, we are making a small introduction, of course. But the most important thing is for you to hear a testimonial and for you to make your questions, so we can have a discussion and you can take all the doubts that you have. So please leave them on the Ask a Question section. I know that Lupo, who is from Ironhack as well, is trying to answer a few of your questions, but in any case, know that we will have a space for them in the end. But we will go through the questions and through your comments. I'm glad you're leaving them. But now I'm going to pass over to David, and well, he will say what he has to say, and he will probably answer a few of your questions, right?
Perfect. Thank you very much, Raquel. Thank you very much, Daniel. So it's a pleasure to be with you today here. And I hope that, as you said, my testimonial help you, to better understand what cybersecurity is. And I would like to start with a big welcome. Welcome to the cybersecurity world. I think that today if you are here, it's because you are just about to start an amazing journey. And I say amazing journey because I've been here in this journey for a long time, and what I can tell you is that each and every day of my life has been different, and each and every day I've learned something new. So that is one of the good things of cybersecurity, is that it's so changing, it's evolving so fast, and you never stop learning new things. As I said, I started this journey like almost 20 years ago. So I'm getting older now, and I can tell you one thing, guys. Without any doubt, I would have started again. So I enjoyed a lot in this journey. But let me tell you something about me. Initially, 20 years ago when I started, I didn't know, and I have to be honest and humble here. I never thought that 20 years later, I could be leading one cybersecurity team in one of the top 20 pharma companies in the world. My orientation was never from the beginning cybersecurity. I like computers a lot. I like programming. I started to develop websites, but cybersecurity was not really on my let's say future. But when I started my career, I studied computers engineering. I learned a lot about networking, and then I joined one internship program that was, I would say, a nice catch. It was really what changed completely the direction of my career. In this internship program, basically, I started to add on top of networking security. So I started, or let's say, to learn about network security. That was the beginning. And there, basically, I learned how to first operate some network security technologies, how to, let's say, implement those technologies, how to define secure networks, secure topologies, secure architectures. And from that point on, I keep learning and learning and learning about multiple different things. And I could say one of the beauties of cybersecurity is that cybersecurity is something on top of everything. So it's not that you are fully focused on network or in programming or in systems or on databases. IT technologies there are a lot of different technologies, and there is a piece of cybersecurity on top of everything there. So in my case, the beginning was the network, but it could be that the beginning for many of you is as I said, web programming, or could be that you're expert on databases or on operative systems. Doesn't really matter. There is a space for you to learn, a space for you to start from any of these different points. Well, as I said, I started with network security. So when I finished my degree, basically I joined one of the most important security operations centers in Spain. In this case, it was Telefonica, and then definitely my career started to further develop. I started in the network, but then I started to learn many more things, and not only about technologies, but also about techniques, tactics, procedures, how the attackers work. And then I started to work in different parts. No? I spent a long time of my career, both as a technician, as a project manager, and then also as a manager, working on security monitoring, in incident response, in data leak prevention, and I have really good memories of all this time. I can tell you a lot of good examples, no? But let me give you one for you to understand what this is, no? You were asking, some of you, about incident response. Yeah, it's something that maybe not everybody likes, but I definitely enjoy a lot. No? I remember I was one day with a workmate lifting at the gym, 7 a.m. in the morning, and then I received a call from my director saying, "Hey, Dave, we have one of our clients with a critical network that is infected by a malware, no? And they urgently need our help." So then I took my stuff, went to this company, and then I arrived there, and we had a critical network absolutely infected by a malware. In this case was Configure, was the name of the malware at that time, and then there were a lot of servers fully affected, crashing continuously. And then I had to fill the situation of arriving to one place, spend 27 hours, and I will never forget that, 27 hours working there non-stop until we were able to overcome the situation, no? Until we were able to control the situation, isolate different focus of infection, define a process to clean those machines. And as I said, after 27 hours, the emergency, the situation was fully restored, was absolutely complete. This was so realizing for me. It was so good how to handle situations like that. This type of crisis management, no, both from the technical part, but also from the let's say managing part, no? And like that one, I have many other memories along these years working in cybersecurity and helping many different companies, especially here in Spain. Then, what can I say? I know that you are not security people, like I wasn't in the past. And I would say, don't be afraid of that, because you can definitely start, and you will never stop learning. No? And you will learn and learn multiple different things, and you will enjoy. Absolutely. Today, I'm not working as a technician anymore. I'm the head of the Cybersecurity Operations Center in Beringen Ingelheim. Beringen is one of the top 20 pharma companies. It's a German company, and I'm leading all the cybersecurity operations, as well as the implementation of our, let's say, cybersecurity strategy action plan, to improve our security posture. And I'm also enjoying this part. So the technical part was good, but also the strategic part of the cybersecurity is also really interesting and amazing. No, learning how to, let's say, foresee what is happening, and then get ready to protect our company against those new threats, which are changing every day, and they never stop changing. No, because the attackers are continuously evolving. They evolve even faster than the rest of the world. So you have to be continuously analyzing how things are going to happen. What can you do to predict, to foresee what is going to happen, and get ready before those things happen. No? So tomorrow I will speak. Tomorrow is when I have the session, so I will spend basically 1 hour talking about cybersecurity strategy and risk management. I encourage you to join us tomorrow. Is when actually I think the actual webinars, no, for more let's say educational webinars start is tomorrow. So I encourage you to join us. But for sure, today I'm here. So if you have any question that you want to know about the world or about the jobs or wherever, I'm here to have you guys.
Well, thank you for your introduction. And I know that a lot of people have left questions in here and some comments. So I say we go ahead. And one of the questions that people have been upvoting the most, and I think this can be for both of you, both for Danny, because you will know a little bit about the course and both for you regarding your experience. How much coding, or I would broaden this question, what type of languages, what type of knowledge do you need to join either the course, so to start really from scratch, or to work in the field, like which kind of background is needed? So maybe a perspective from the course and a perspective from, well, real life, I say, after the course.
Most definitely, I think David can complement a lot on how does it look in the professional environment. And from our side, there's no coding skills required to join the course. Anything that you know ahead, obviously, is going to support you and get more out of the educational experience. But from our perspective, there's no coding required. If you already have some experience, then for scripting, for example, is something that's going to help you a lot. So for the course, zero whatsoever. Yeah.
What do you think, David? What do you think it's needed in terms of background, in terms of knowledge to start with?
Personally, I could say coding is something that is like putting you one step forward always. So if you know how to code, basically it will be easier for you, and definitely will be. So scripting is something that it's so handy, and in cybersecurity as well. So it will be very, very useful for you. Is it a requirement? Well, as I said, it depends. So it is not necessarily a requirement, but definitely it will help. No? And especially depending what parts, it is very important. No? For example, if you are talking about you want to be a hacker, no? You want to be, let's say, an ethical hacker, you want to be a penetration tester, definitely you need coding. You need to understand the code, that's for sure. So, and especially the web programming, for sure. If you want to be, let's say, focus on web hacking, for sure, you need to understand how the web works and the protocols and how the language work. No, but there are other parts when it might not be that necessary. For example, when you're talking about incident response, well, incident response, I would say, is not mandatory. It helps. For example, for processing logs, it helps a lot. For collecting evidence, it helps, but it's not really mandatory. So it depends. It helps. Mandatory? No. But as I said, also you will start, and then you will keep learning every day of your life.
Yeah. So someone else asked here, so we can close this coding topic. What do you think are the languages that would be needed to start with, needed to learn?
I would say, so Python probably is the most common one. If you talk to people in cybersecurity, Python, Perl, and then shell script. For sure, it's very, very good and very. Of course, if you know Python, it's also very, very good, and especially if you want to be, let's say, as I said, offensive in all those environments you are talking about ourselves, and definitely need to know. So Python, very, very useful, and Perl and as well.
All right, thank you. I'm not sure if I had some problems hearing, but I think it broke for a few people. Yes, so maybe in the end we can go back to this topic and we can name the coding languages that you said, because there was a few cuts in the voice. But let's move on, because we have a lot of questions. But in the end, we will make sure. But someone here is actually commenting, so that's perfect. Someone here, Nuno, said, I read the news that today that the functions in human cybersecurity would disappear by 2030 and replaced by AI. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, my thoughts is that for sure AI will be there, will help a lot of things. The fact that the cybersecurity people will disappear, I don't think so, absolutely. Because as I said, it continues to evolve very, very fast. So every day is different. Attackers are learning new things, and basically, I would say they will hack the AI. No? So I don't think they're gonna disappear. You can. I'm pretty sure. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that we will have work for a very, very, very long time. And I've seen so far a lot of machines trying to do this let's say artificial intelligence processing and behavior analysis, and I can tell you, yeah, for sure, those things help, but in the end, you need very skilled people to work on the topics, and these skilled people are very, very let's say valued in the market today. It's not easy. So for example, I'm hiring. I have my big team, and I'm hiring and continuously looking for good professionals, and for people is not easy. So I can tell you a war of talent outside now, and security people are very well rated and difficult to find.
Yeah, the truth is that right now placement rate, it's close to zero. Not placement, employment rate is close to 0%, because there are a lot of needs in the market, right? And very, very few people with the talent necessary. So this is why cybersecurity is, let's say, trending right now. And as David said, it's here to stay. Well,
get ready to program the machine yourself before it takes your job. And something very interesting from the conversation that we've been having with David, that caught my eye, is most of these errors that we see in cybersecurity are usually human based. So yes, the machine is going to get to learn and to understand and to solve most of those problems, but we're going to be responsible for it for a long time. So be sure that it's going to stay for a while.
All right, we have here an interesting question from Clarissa, and I think this is much more for you, David. Do you become extremely suspicious while working in the field? I'm curious about mind health. This is an interesting one, an interesting perspective.
I have to ask you, I have to repeat it because I didn't understand the word.
No worries, I'll repeat. Do you become extremely suspicious while working in the field? I'm curious about mental health or mind health.
I don't know how to answer that question, honestly.
I think it's a good one. It's oriented to, if I'm understanding it properly, do you get paranoid when you get to deal with all these threats on a daily basis? Doesn't it affect your head when you're at home and you're like, okay, everybody's attacking me right now, so should I get to my bank or
not?
And
you have more knowledge, you know that things that you should do and things that you shouldn't do and things that happen. So all this knowledge that you have on things that are actually happening and that you know that can happen, how do you deal with that? I'm thinking that's the action, but maybe Clarissa can say in the chat if this is what she wants to know.
Basically, I can tell you, so you will not get paranoid, but one thing that will happen, and it happens to many people, is that your trust on things will be reduced. That's for sure. You will start not trusting on many things and having a different, let's say, perspective of things, because you know that mainly everything is reliable. So then you'll be more cautious about many things. But don't worry, get paranoid. I don't think so, at least.
All right. I hope that helped. I hope that didn't get you scared. It's always good to have the knowledge, I'd say. We just have to deal with the knowledge after we know it, right? So this is a question here. The next question here. People here are saying that connection is a little bit poor with you, David. I'm not sure if you can do anything about it, but guys, if there's anything that you didn't hear, maybe we can repeat it later. So please show in the chat if there was anything. I have to thank Erden. He shared here the languages that David was talking about. So if there's anything that you really didn't hear, please say so after, okay? But here, Robert was asking what certifications are necessary or highly recommended to have in cyber to start with. And maybe both of you can give a perspective of what, for instance, Cybersecurity Bootcamp has, and what do you have, David, or you recommend? So which one of you want to start?
David. No, David is the one hiring a big team. So I think he can give us a little bit more perspective on that.
I think it depends. No, if you want to learn let's say overall about security, my recommendation, for example, would be to do the CISP. It's a very well-known certification, and that is like you will get a very big, wide knowledge about cybersecurity. Later, you have to see to what you want to be. If you want to be a hacker, for example, I go here for some people commenting about OCP, for sure, or about the SCE or SCWE, depends. So there are multiple different certifications, and definitely.
In here, I think that we have like a few connections issues. So maybe while I don't know if you have anything to say about this, Danny, but if you have so, you can write here on the chat, David, the names so people can read after. About the bootcamp, Daniel, is there any certification or is there anything people should know?
So we prepare you. You get a certificate that is validated by Ironhack and Cybint, which is a very well recognized cybersecurity provider in the market. And we prepare you for some certificates, as for example the CompTIA SS plus SI plus plus, sorry, certifications, and some other certifications that are recognized in the market. This depends a little bit on where you are based and what the market is requiring. And when you do this sort of educations, call it with us or call it with a different provider, and you would get most likely the preparation to attack those certifications, but you won't be prepared for the test. So there's plenty of certifications available, and just look at your market and see what's being required by specific companies and in your environment, and then you obviously would then be able to get one of these. They're very different in the Americas than the ones in Europe, for example, although in terms of information and education validation, they tend to be very similar.
Yeah, I hope that answered your questions, guys. And maybe if you still have questions about this later, some people have been commenting here the names. So I'm guessing these are the names that we talked about. So if you still have any more questions, please say so in the end. But right now, this is more of a tricky question. But maybe we can broaden this to every condition. So here, people want to know, how much can you expect as a salary in the beginning of your career? How many hours a day do you work? Do you sometimes have to work all night because of certain circumstances? What are the working days made of? So this is a big question, but I'm guessing it's to start with, what can you expect if you want to work in the field in terms of conditions? So maybe, David, you can start answering this one.
So if you want to be expert, sure it will depend. So I think that with this course, you will get a very good overview, and you will definitely start and you get a good level. But if you want to be expert, make no mistake, for sure, you have to spend a long time learning, and you will become an expert in whatever. Like if you play tennis, you can face a with a training. You have to spend years training. You will be able to play the ATP.
Do you want to add anything, Danny?
Pretty much as in any field, no? So depending on what you've done before and how you can relate it to actually the environment that you're going to be working in, the company that you're going to be working in, or the sort of institution that you're going to be working in the future, you would get then the leveled compensation for that, in order to become an expert, in order to specialize yourself in a position, call it in cybersecurity or in any other field. What you would have to do naturally is then to practice and develop your not only your CV, but your skill set in terms of practical experience, so you can actually move up the ladder, no?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I know that we're having some connection issues regarding the sound. I'm guessing more on David. Sorry about that. I'm not sure if you can do anything about it, David, but let's keep on with the questions. And if anything is missing, we will answer in the end by chat if anything is very important to answer. Okay, but continue with the questions. I'm guessing that we more or less cover this. So maybe I will go for another one. I will go for a question here from Diog. For someone who wants to start learning cybersecurity, what are the first tips you would have to give? what topics should you learn to be prepared? So this is a little bit related to background, but I would broaden this to tips. Like we talked about certifications, we talked about coding, which kind of languages you need to learn. But what would be your advices? Maybe Danny, you want to start?
See, most definitely. Although I think we have to rely on the expert here. From my perspective, what we see, for example, through when we are starting a course and we are completing the group that we're going to have in the classroom, is we need to see that you have an interest and that you are keen to actually get your hands dirty from the very beginning with the fundamentals and the understanding from a very technical and structural things like how do networks work, how system administration looks like, how you get to a broad understanding of what is happening behind your computer, behind your network, behind that whole structure that you are seeing actually in front of you. So if you have that interest and you're comfortable with being in contact with that environment, obviously it's always a very nice path to follow. And there's money in different areas. There's always very lucrative things to do. Nonetheless, I think it's very important that this is close to actually what you want to do on a daily basis. David was mentioning when we were talking before starting the session that he has been doing this for 20 years and that he never gets bored at work. So he's excited on pretty much every day when he gets to actually to go to his work. So I think this is the main motivation that you should have. This is the motivation that I have, for example, to do my job. So regardless of whatever you want to do, and feel that this is something that you want to do on a continuous basis, that this is something that you're passionate about and that you are very comfortable with doing on your day-to-day. And then like in my case, and I think David's case and even Raquel's case, job becomes some sort of fun thing environment where you're actually developing yourself as a person, and as a professional on your side. So I don't know if I gave you too much of a broad answer. Nonetheless, it's a very oriented to the interest that you have in technology and in solving these sort of problems, and then contributing to the whole environment in terms of security. Naturally, no.
Yeah. David, can you talk right now, or do you want to wait a little bit time for the sound? Is it okay now? We can hear you. We can hear you, David.
There you go.
How about now?
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's better.
Now it's funny. Now I have half of the sound here and half of the sound here. So the micro is here and the sound is here. Anyway.
The question here, David, was for a little bit of tips for people who want to start. I know that we talked about coding language, but let's broaden it a little, like tips to start, topics that you should learn. How do you start?
I would say enjoy. So simply to walk, to run, you learn walking, no? To programming, and security the same. So you have to start and keep being inquisitive and learning. It's a journey.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it adds up to what we've been saying so far. I hope that helped. But in any case, here Davey is asking another thing. And this can be a bummer for people who are afraid of math. Is math, the math part, too scary for someone that doesn't have any experience?
Math is scary if you're afraid of math, I think. I was, and not even that. I was very afraid of math almost all of my life. I'm a journalist myself, and got into a study train that was very math oriented, and my perspective completely changed. So play a little bit with math, and once again, if you're feeling comfortable and you enjoy it, it's not going to be an issue. It's going to be enjoyable, no?
What do you think, David? Do you deal with math a lot in your daily work?
Well, I think math is not a requirement, guys. Don't worry. So for sure, it might help on some things, but for sure, don't worry. Math is not a requirement.
And it's not that scary, huh?
Yeah,
Like
it's not.
you get to like it at some point.
Well, just to quickly get this out of the way, you will not be able to hack NASA after this live stream. So, and you will not get a free trial of the platform. We're sorry. But we have here a question from Alex, which is again about working conditions. So maybe David, you can give your perspective on this. You mentioned the 27 workday, more or less, solving a malware attack. I love the thrill of it, but I wonder how companies compensate for this kind of work days, or is this taken into account? I think that's the question.
So I have to ask you to repeat the question because you were breaking up and I couldn't really understand you, Raquel.
No worries. Here, Alex was asking, you mentioned that, let's say, a 27-hour workday solving a malware attack. So I love the thrill of it, but I wonder how companies compensate for these kind of work days. Like, how do they deal with these conditions? Do you have, how do they deal with these kind of circumstances?
And this is happening more and more to all companies worldwide. So I'm pretty sure that you have seen in the news many big companies that have been hacked. They suffer important data breaches. And I can tell you, when there is a big data breach, people don't stop working. You have to get it fixed and as soon as possible. But of course, all the big companies have big teams. So don't worry, it doesn't mean that you're gonna work 27 hours, guys. There was something real, I can tell you, but it's not the day to day. You have a normal job that you will enjoy.
Yeah, I hope that answered. And a question here from Walter: most cybersecurity jobs are on-site or remote?
I think that COVID has proved that we can all work remotely perfectly.
What is your perspective on this, Danny?
100%. I've changed my life, and I'm not even in cybersecurity, and my job is not really that tech oriented, and my life has completely changed for the better since I joined the whole remote environment. And there's a lot of companies and there's a lot of even institutions right now that are moving towards that direction. So that is here to stay. That's something that is here to stay. And if you're able and comfortable with doing this sort of working, amazing. And there is every day more and more companies working either remote or either in hybrid sort of formats. So this is most definitely something that is, as I said, is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's most likely not going to stop.
Yeah. Well, we are getting closer to the end. We've been answering a lot of questions, and I'm sorry, but I don't know if we're going to be able to answer all of your questions. In any case, here, someone is asking, and to go back through this subject again, people are concerned with the code, but understanding network concepts and protocols behind, it's the more essential part to begin, right? Just to get it out of the way.
Right on the spot. You caught me writing that answer, and then it went up all the way. From my perspective, most definitely, and I think David, with his vast experience in the field, can probably reinforce that.
Is it correct, David?
As I said, security is a big wall. So network security or network in general, it helps a lot. But there are many other things which are not network. When you're talking about operative systems, there is a big wall there, and it's not network. So there is a space for everybody. It doesn't matter where you are coming from. You have the possibility to become an expert on something, no? But for sure, understanding protocols, no? That for sure, and whatever type of protocol, and being inquisitive, trying to get to the really deep, no, and understand the root of the things is what helps you here. So it's not only network or operating systems or databases or programming. It's a combination of everything.
All right. What's here? Diana was asking, what's the most sought out after cybersecurity job position? I'm guessing Well, maybe David, you can give your perspective on this.
You will enjoy in all the positions. So it depends what you like. You have to see what's your motivation. Some people are more in the defense. Some people are more in the strategy. Some people more in the offense. Also, other people selling security. So there is a space for everybody to enjoy.
All right. And we will close. I mean, just to answer a few questions that I've been seeing here in the chat and in the Ask a Question section before we close. Guys, this is a recorded webinar. For those of you who are not in the beginning, I announced this will be recorded, and you can access through this link. This will be recorded in here. In any case, for those of you who are interested in pursuing the Cybersecurity Week, and again, this is a small introduction to the week and to cybersecurity itself. So it's a bit more broad and a bit more light for you to ask questions, but the real work and the real practice in which you can really learn new topics will start tomorrow, actually with David. So please, if you want to go through all the other events, which are free and completely beginner friendly, so you don't need to have any kind of background, you can look into them into the green button. You can see here below the videos. In any case, all the recordings will be available, so you can see this after, and we will give you an overview of the week. If you sign to get more news here on the landing page that you see, clicking on the green button, if you click on hearing more news, we will give you an overview of the week and some extra surprises we have for you at the end. But in any case, today was really to give you an introduction, to answer a few of your questions. And I'm sorry that we will not be able to answer them all today. A few of them will still be here unanswered. I'm sorry. And I know that Lupo was here answering a few of your questions from Ironhack, so thank you. In any case, before we go, do you, Danny, or do you, David, want to add something to the conversation?
Very quickly, I want to obviously thank you, Raquel, for always leading this in a very impeccable way and with making everything always so clear. David, I have to tell you, I actually admire someone that goes for 20 years into a field that 20 years ago was 20 years less known than it is today, and today it remains also a very big mystery. So this obviously is something that I appreciate a lot. I thank you very much for giving all the clarity that you have brought for us today in your position leading the cybersecurity department in a company like Boehringer Ingelheim, which is a global player. So thank you very much. And for you guys, just reach out to me with any questions, with anything that you might need to know regarding the course, regarding the whole Ironhack experience. I'm always happy to have a chat, and we don't even need to talk about prices or anything like that. I'm always very happy to see how we can contribute and when we can actually complement each other's knowledge to make this ecosystem, number one, safer, and number two, more productive and growing naturally. Thank you, Raquel, and thank you, David.
Do you have anything to add, David? And thank you, of course. Tomorrow, as I said, there will be a new webinar with David, a more practical webinar. We promise for those of you who are wondering if there will be a more practical one. I will leave here on the Ask a Question section the link that you can go straight to it. In any case, you will see that clicking on the green button, you will see that you go through the landing page and you have all the events there. In any case, here in the Ask a Question if you ask a question section, if you want to upvote, should be the last topic that I put with a link that you can go and find to sign up for the webinar tomorrow. And thank you for your feedback, Kai. Thank you for your interaction. I know that we have some connection problems, but thank you for your patience. And I really hope that this was very helpful for you to answer a few questions, how to start. And thank you guys for being here. And I guess I will see you all tomorrow, hopefully. And you too, David.
For sure.
All right. Bye, guys. Good evening for those of you in Europe, at least.
Ciao.
Bye.